On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Any other dynamic between a husband and wife in terms of the hierarchy that you just mentioned, besides father figure? Like, do you think the man can still be at the top of the hierarchy without it being a father figure?
No. Most men are emasculated. Most men are simps. Listen, the reason why you got so many weak men today is because the men of yesteryear failed us. There wasn't women. A lot of relationships were endured through. They weren't successfully married. Trill kind of highlighted it. I am answering it. I'm saying that I'm giving a context to the answer. I'm saying that no, it can't exist without that hierarchy. And then
I'm asking, is father figure the only way to have that hierarchy? Like, is there any other way? Okay, so you have to be a father figure to your wife, in your opinion.
Yes.
Okay.
Been better off had they had, do you think that their life was wasted in a situation where they may have been unhappy, but they did have a family and they raised a family? I mean, I'm just wondering, what would have happened if she learned how to drive, she was unhappy, and then she had left? What would have happened to the family after that? So do you think that it's worth it to stay even if you're unhappy, or do you think that your happiness is what needs to be at the forefront?
Me personally, I have a modern mindset, so I'm gonna be a bit biased. But I feel like, take my mindset away from it. I didn't talk to older women who, though they didn't regret staying for their family and raising their kids, a lot of them had dreams and aspirations that they wanted to do. Like my grandmother, for example, wanted to be an accountant. She went to a college and graduated and was 4.0 student and all that, and put all that on the back burner to have my four kids, and said, you know what, my husband worked at the steel mill. I'm just gonna be a housewife. And when I asked her, she said, I don't regret the decision I made, because that would mean that I regret my kids and I regret the family that I done built. But if I could go back, I would have definitely at least tried it to try to see if I could make it work. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of older women have that regret. And that's why, again, just like I spoke about earlier, the last 30, 40 years of their marriages, they don't really like each other. They sleeping in separate rooms. Only time they really talk to each other is during family functions. Thanksgiving, the kids come over, whatever, and now they talking, whatever. But when everybody leave, she going in her room, he going in his side room, in his little recliner to watch the game or whatever the case may be, and they gonna sleep in them rooms and wake up and just go about their day. But it's a situation of complacency. I can't go nowhere. You can't go nowhere. We 60 years old. We might as well just ride this thing on out. And as far as like, is it worth it? I think it depends on perspective. From my perspective, no. But again, my perspective is irrelevant in terms of somebody else's marriage. So it's hard to answer that question.
Stay on this topic real quick. This is the last one. And feel free to answer if you want to. Is a husband and father two different roles? Is a husband and father two different roles?
Rila. Go Rila.
See, I'm over here thinking hard. I missed that Rila. I'm thinking hard about it because my first thought is, yeah, those are two different roles. What am I talking about? They may overlap to me, but maybe some similarities in terms of maybe instruction, guidance, things of that nature. And I know that may, maybe not tickle the ears of some women, but yeah, men do provide instruction and guidance to their wives, or husbands provide instruction and guidance and direction to their wives. And I think the biggest difference, I don't know if it was on King Talk or if it was on this platform on Thursday, or somebody asked the question. I don't know if it was Bolo or somebody asked the question like, yo, if you was drowning and it was like, save the kids or save your wife, who would you save and why? Jay, I feel like you asked that question one time. And I think the biggest difference is based on one of the ways that you could tell that different is how would you respond to that question and which sacrifice would you make and why? All right. You can't function as a husband over your children. You shouldn't function as a father over your wife. Although some husbands do that. You shouldn't function as a father over your wife. All right. So yeah, those are two different things, man.
I gotta disagree, Rilla. I am very much a father figure in my wife's life. I am very much a father. As a matter of fact,
was her father absent at that time?
Yes.
Okay. That's the
but here's the context though. I said this, I think, a couple shows ago when me and Kayla had our annual weekly powwow as usual, where I was talking about how the structure and whether or not I would let my kid do a certain degree program in college and all of that. And I said that the goal for me is to be the covering for her until she gets her husband. Her husband then becomes a covering for her. And it's a transition, which is one of the reasons why we walk our daughters down the aisle. We given our daughters away. And now he serves large. Listen, I taught my chick how to drive. I helped her get a license. I bought her first car. Like, I am very much a father figure in the role in my household over everybody in the household. I give the instruction has to come through me. Yeah, I empower her to do certain things and make certain decisions. But ultimately, we all understand that there's a hierarchy and that this is not a partnership at all. I don't believe in partnerships. I believe in a hierarchy, and I believe that there's an order and a structure of things, and that's how things stay so smooth and they roll. Because there's very few companies in the world that got two CEOs. I don't believe in that.
Anton, do you think that the dynamic of father figure is the only way there can be a hierarchy within a romantic relationship?
No, I mean, he was saying as a father and a husband, two different things. I think that
what you said.
I think that is more similar. I think that it more intersects than we think it is, because I think that a husband often at times in so many different ways serves a father figure role, and everybody that in the house, we just don't like the word that come along with it. But we very much cover.
I know that you think that. I was asking if you thought, or if
what do you mean a romantic relationship? Like somebody that's just having
a wife.
Not
Let's
married?
say a wife. Do you think that there's any other dynamic between a husband and wife in terms of the hierarchy that you just mentioned, besides father figure? Like, do you think the man can still be at the top of the hierarchy without it being a father figure?
No. Most men are emasculated. Most men are simps. Listen, the reason why you got so many weak men today is because the men of yesteryear. The men of yesteryear failed us. There wasn't women. A lot of relationships were endured through. They weren't successfully married. Trill kind of highlighted it. I am answering it. I'm saying that I'm giving a context to the answer. I'm saying that no, it can't exist without that hierarchy. And then
I'm asking, is father figure the only way to have that hierarchy? Like, is there any other way? Okay, so you have to be a father figure to your wife, in your opinion.
Yes.
Okay.